It's a couple minutes after. So thanks everyone for joining. Welcome, and we are so excited to share with you a little bit more about, how Buildxact can help you quote faster and how it can really change the way that your business operates and the profit that you make. Just a couple of quick introductions here. My name is Avery Watson. I'm on the enterprise account management team here at Buildxact, and I'm based in Austin, Texas. And co-presenting with me today is Alex Volney. He's based in Vancouver, and he's part of our account management team. We're excited to kind of show you more about Buildxact today. So, quick coverage of the agenda here. We're going to be covering cutting your estimating and quoting time by up to 80%, how to produce professional, accurate quotes. All those will help you to win more jobs. This will also help you stay on top of scheduling and how we can maximize your profit through, speeding up the execution of your builds. So that's a quick overview of what we're going to be doing today. And before we get started with the actual product demonstration, we have a couple of polls that I'd love for you to kind of participate in. So everyone get ready to give some answers here. So our first poll is, what do you use to create estimates today?
This is my favorite part too, because I love to see, what type of crowd that we have. And, it just really helps me kind of identify what areas of the program to kind of, emphasize the most for you guys. So feel free to answer this question because it'll help me as well.
So there we go. So, wow, no pencil and paper today. That's great to see that you're using software and Excel. So the next question is a tag on to the first question. How long does it take you to do your estimates today using the software or with Excel? I think when that poll question pops up. There we go. So roughly give us an idea of how long it takes you to produce a quote with what you're using today. Give another like 10 seconds or so. Thank you everyone for participating. There we go.
Oh, wow.
All right, 6 to 8 hours, a couple days. Good job on those that are doing it in an hour or so. You're probably using Buildxact already.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you for participating in the poll. So, without any further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Alex to share his screen, and we're going to jump into the product demonstration. And again, please ask as many questions as you want. We are here to help you. So with that, I'll hand it to Alex.
Awesome. Thank you, Avery. And what I'll do is I'm going to share my screen and just kind of take you guys through Buildxact. So my name is Alex Volney. I'm an account executive here. Some of you guys on the call may know me. Like I might have had meetings, where I've, sold you the program or, helped you with questions or training. The reason we ask those questions is because, my job every day is to talk to customers, like yourself, who basically, are really struggling with the way that we use technology in the construction industry. The construction industry has really struggled with, providing solutions that make, estimating in like the residential or like light commercial space easy. So that's where Buildxact has come along. And so I'm going to really focus on 3 different sections of the program. So whether you're an existing Buildxact customer or you're new and you're interested, I think this will be generally a good overview of the program and how we can really speed up and use some good habits and create a good process so that you can be a better estimator and win more jobs, because it's not always the best estimator and most accurate estimator that wins a job. It's who can get them the quote the fastest. So the first part I'm going to focus on is just going to be just some quick admin stuff about how we can create a better relationship with you, your customers, just organizing your business a little better, as well as the suppliers and contractors. Second, I'll take you through how to do a takeoff and estimate through Buildxact, which is roughly about 80% faster than if you were to do it by hand with like a scale ruler and pencil and paper. And then the last part will be some job management stuff. So how we're going to, once your estimate is done, be able to manage that process so you can ensure your accuracy. So, but the first things first, this is our Buildxact dashboard. We have these tabs here on the left-hand side. So, if we go here to this leads tab, the first thing you're probably going to do is if you get somebody who's interested, in a quote, you can add them here as a customer. So even this part, some people aren't doing in the construction world. You have all your information everywhere. You're relying on just your contacts and your phone. This can help you organize by keeping track of, who's new, who's quoting, and the different statuses, of a lead. From here, you can also keep track of their budget, as well as store any sort of notes or documentation about this account. What's handy with this is we can also help you create better relationships with your customers. So what that means is we have what's called a client portal. So instead of you having your organized, your customer communications organized through like text messages and email, you can invite them to a customer portal where your client can log in. What this allows them to do is you can actually win more jobs and win more repeat business and referrals by giving them a better place to organize all of your communications. So if you do have a customer, they can see your project and then you can share your estimates, all of your information directly into this portal. So the first thing is if you have any jobs that you've completed, like you've updated, like let's say I've just installed this door, you can actually keep track of like a project timeline of all the work that you've done. This provides great peace of mind to your customers, as well as be able to communicate directly with them. So once you've, added that to the timeline, they can respond and say, that door looks great. You can also store any sort of quotes, plans, documents, and change orders in here, just to give everything, one clear, concise place for your customers to locate and communicate with you. On top of that, we can also improve how you manage your pricing with customers, or with your estimates, as well as communications with suppliers. So what that means is we have this catalogs tab here. So if you do have like a list of your own pricing in a spreadsheet, for those people who answered yes to the spreadsheet part of the poll, you can actually import that directly into Buildxact, or you can ask your suppliers to integrate with us or submit a price list to us so that we can basically manage all of your inventory so you can shop directly from your supplier in Buildxact. What that looks like is we can organize all of their price lists into like a nice, neat fashion in our system. So when you're doing an estimate, if you wanted to look for a door and see what the cost of a door is, you can go to doors, door type, and then see how much a standard external flush door is, and then add that to an estimate. The beauty of what we're trying to do too is we're trying to really help bridge the gap between you and your suppliers to make shopping easy in our program. So we've actually added some suppliers, and we're continuing to add more and more. So, the more people that use Buildxact, if they actually invite a supplier, our beautiful supplier team like Avery will reach out to them and help bridge a relationship so they can update their pricing into real time into Buildxact. What that means is once we get into the estimate portion of our program, it allows us to speed up the way that you find and access pricing and organize our estimates. So when it comes to estimating, we do two things really well. One is we're very simple and easy to use. And two is we have really good training. So one of the things that we'll train you with our one-on-one training to help you customize your business, which is really simple and easy. We just organize a schedule of time and help customize and set up things like templates. Well, basically these templates, we actually provide you some for like a single family home, kitchen and bathroom, different types of constructions. What it allows you to do is organize the majority of your estimate in advance. So you don't have to repeat all of the, work that you do on a daily basis from starting an estimate from scratch. What that looks like is, if I get to this estimate here, is a list of category items for your construction from, in this case, I have 1 through 11 of all the things I'm going to be doing for this remodel. And then I can go in here, and this is like a checklist. So I can go in and I can basically have all of my preliminary items, like my permit fees, my site service, my management fees, design fees, all my stuff preloaded, so that you don't have to look that up and start from scratch with every estimate when you're doing it in an Excel document or on other softwares. Once this is done and you've confirmed all these prices, you can mark this as complete. So basically the goal here is to just set up everything in advance with like your framing prices, your drywall, your siding, your paint. And it's going to, once you've completed all different aspects, then you can just send this out quickly to a customer as a quote. But these tabs here at the top, they guide you through the process of putting things through to win the quote from the customer. So the first thing that you're going to do is actually upload a PDF of a blueprint or plans. So to do that, it's really simple. I can just import plans by just selecting like a PDF document. So if I go to here to these imperial plans, I can just import them and upload them into the system. So, while this is loading, this is always a good part for me to ask you guys, if you do have any questions about any of the admin features or anything related to the estimate, feel free to just drop them into the chat so that I'm not just going on like a 10-minute rant. And then Beth or Avery will be able to just kind of let me know that you have some questions pertaining to the particular parts of the program. But the whole goal here is we want to just take your PDF plans instead of you having to print out documents. It's really simple. You just import the PDF, and then you can select the page that you want to measure. So in this case here, I've imported this floor plan. All I have to do is just press the scale plan button. What that will do is it allows me to go directly into the document. And then if I go to this horizontal line here, that's 30 feet, I can just highlight it and type in 30. And it allows me to then horizontally scale the plan for an accurate measurement. Then I can find a vertical line that I know the distance of. So this one here is 35 feet, 6 inches. I just enter that same measurement and I press finish. Just like that, it's going to give us the most accurate way to scale a plan so that you know that you can rely on your measurements within the program. Now, when it comes to measuring, we can actually keep track of all your takeoffs here on the left-hand side, but you're probably going to spend the majority of your time here in this estimate costings tab. So let me just build out an example. I like to use drywall as an example. So I'm going to add a couple tabs here of like how I would just from scratch build out a template for like a drywall estimate. So the first things first is, let's say I'm just entering data, just simple data entry, and I'm doing something like demo for this job. Well, I can just type in demo, select if it's a material, labor, MATLAB, equipment, subcontractor. This is going to have different tax rates associated to it as well, so you can get accurate numbers, for your tax information. On top, so if I select labor and I needed to do, let's say 10 hours, all I have to do is go in here, type in my rate per hour, and then it's automatically going to calculate here. Once I put in 10 hours in the right spot, I'm going to get, it's going to calculate that it's going to be $1,000 total for this job. Then I can individually mark up this item, my profit, or I can mark up this whole category 25%. And for the question from Philippe Legacy is, yes, we do have a scale all button. So you can, if you have one plan that's different, you can also scale that plan first. And then if all the other are the same scale, then you can scale those all at the same scale. So it's you don't have to do it for each plan. But on top of that, once I've gone in here and I've entered all of my line items and I've got my markup, we'll actually give you a tax breakdown for, whatever your tax area is. So our tax works really well. On top of that, you're also going to be able to see what your cost, your markup, your total, and your total after taxes. But once this is done, that's just simple data entry. The next easiest way to enter data would just be if you have imported a price list. What you can do is you can actually search through those price lists to find an item. So here, if I wanted to go in and see how much like a box of nails costs, I can go to my hardware section and I can select that item and directly add it into my estimate from my supplier, or I can just type in nails and it's going to bring up a list of all my different prices. So it's really easy for you to just select an item and add it in and, make looking for pricing easier than ever before. Now, this is the fun part of the program. So let's say I'm doing the drywall for the ceilings. Well, I can select that this is a material and labor price, and I'm just going to do one simple line item cost here. So let's just say it costs $3 per square foot. Well, if I type in this information, I can then just press this takeoff tool button, and in 1 second, it's going to bring me directly into the blueprint. So just like that, if I wanted to measure the ceiling space, for this garage, we provide you these different tools up here at the top. So if I use the rectangle tool, I can then just highlight from one corner to the next, and it's going to tell me it's 843 square feet and 4 inches. Now, when I talk to a lot of builders every day, I've done a fair number of these demos. This generally is the light bulb moment where it goes off, where you're like, this just saves me a ton of time. The actual printing out of the plans and having a scale ruler, putting it in a spreadsheet, or using another program and entering things in 3 different systems just to get a quote out, it's annoying. What we can do is just streamline this process. So if I'm going to do the rest of the structure, all I have to do is just quickly highlight in a couple of seconds here, the rest of the ceiling for this first floor. And instead of it taking 10 minutes in one, what would we say, 1 minute here, I have the full square footage of the ceiling area for the structure. I press accept. It's going to tell me that, you know, if you times that by the unit cost, it's going to be $6,756.50. So that's where it makes it relatively seamless and easy for you to be able to go in, measure all your plans. And then if you did need to add anything additional like wastage or, you know, round up this number, we give you a calculator where you can add any additional formulas like, you know, 10% wastage or to round it up. So basically, this is going to let you know that you have a watermark and just make that relatively simple and straightforward, nice and easy to get those prices. But on top of that, we can get a little bit more advanced in figuring out the amount of materials that we're going to need for a job. So if we wanted to get a bill of quantities, we actually have this assembly button here. What this does is Buildxact has actually gone out and built 321 different formulas to help you figure out the exact amount of materials that you need for your jobs in the form of assemblies. So for instance, if I was just to show you, like, you know, these have a wide variety from like painting, roofing, electrical, framing. But if I was to go to framing, for instance, we have 54 different types of assemblies with costs attached that you can edit or use ours that are going to help you figure out, like, you know, how to install like a proper floor system and figure out the amount of quantities of studs and 2x4s for different projects. So, but to show you an example of this, let's just measure the drywall for a walls. So on top of that, so Ken, thanks for that question about the software device for like tray ceilings for takeoffs. You know, for questions that are a little bit more particular, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my contact information at the end. I'll type it into the chat so that we can book some demos or just some follow-up calls so that I can take you through it personally and address your questions. But great question though, and I'll show you an example of how we build out an assembly for that, but I'll do it with drywall. So here, I'm going to use a 4x10 sheet of drywall in order to be able to figure out the amount of sheet of drywall that I need. So this is a 4x10 sheet of drywall, so it's 40 square feet total. So for example's sake, let's just say this sheet of drywall costs $40 per sheet. Well, our system's automatically going to break this down to $1 per square foot cost and to a quantity. So that if I typed in manually 2,000 square feet here, it's going to tell me, based on the size of the sheet that it's 4x10 or 40 square feet total, that it's going to be 50 sheets of drywall that I'm going to need for this 2,000 square feet. How we do that, if I want to make my own custom assembly, whether it be for any sort of material, all you need to know is the size. So if I put 1 divided by 40 here, then it's going to allow me to break down the size of this material into a 1 square foot cost. So what that looks like, if I use the takeoff tool, is I can zoom in, and if I wanted to measure this garage area to do the drywall, I can use this line tool and manually put in the height of the ceiling is 10 feet. So that allows me to measure the wall space and the height and the length of the structure by highlighting these different areas. So I get my total square footage. But however, I don't want to use these windows. So I can actually go in here and I can deduct the height of the windows is 3 feet and remove those from my measurement. So that's going to be how we get the most accurate wall space measurement. So we know that we're not over, you know, purchasing drywall and have to like return it or just, you know, eat that cost. So once I've done that here, it's going to tell me I need 27 sheets of drywall, 11 packs of screws, 8 rolls of tape. They're 250, you know, feet and so on. But, sorry, let me just check the chat questions. Yeah, thank you, Beth, for posting that Calendly link as well. If you wanted to book any demos with me, I'm happy to make this a little bit more custom and to dive in with you know, an example of you know, of how you do construction as well to help teach you the program. But the whole point of Buildxact is, you know, I've kind of built out an example of a drywall template, just a quick build for a remodel for you. But once you're done, if you press complete here, we're just going to basically fill these different categories with, you know, your framing assemblies and costs, your siding assembly and costs, your painting assemblies and costs. So every time you need to do an estimate, all you have to do is just go in and measure all of these different components. And then once it's all complete, you'll have a subtotal, a markup, a tax, and a quote total. You'll also have a list of all of the quantities and materials that you need. So if there is anything that you need to get a subcontractor for, what we can also do is, if you're using the pro version of our program, so let's say we needed to get a plumber involved, What I can do is I can actually just go in here and let's say I needed to install bathroom and shower. Well, if I wanted one quote from a subcontractor, we can also increase the way that we interact with your subcontractors to make it more streamlined as well. So instead of you having to call up each one, you can just select this item and press new quote request for one item, and then provide them all the information they need in one simple email form. So if this is a plumbing quote and I need it for, the 29th of June, I can just press next. So I can go in, I can select the floor plans, I can select the plumbing plans, I can even select any takeoffs that I've done, or I can upload any photos and say like, I need a quote for whatever scope of work. Once I've done that, instead of calling up each person and emailing them individually, you can just attach all the different people you want to submit the quote to here. What it's going to do is basically send out an email form, add it to your request for quote section so you can see who you've sent those quotes out to. And then if I go to my email, I can see that I've received a quote directly from this customer as a subcontractor. So you guys have sent this quote out to me as a plumber, and I can go in here and I don't need Buildxact to respond as a subcontractor. If I do, you can use it, but I'll just respond now directly in this email form. And then I'll be able to see the location of the job, the deadline date, your contact information, the job details, and then I can go look at the particular plumbing plans so that I can do my own takeoff and see the type of work that's required. Once I'm done, I just say, yes, I'm going to give this person a quote. This is really easy. I just got to put in, how much the quote's going to cost and then upload my own, quote back to them. Once I'm done, what's going to happen here is you're going to see the response directly in Buildxact and be notified so that you can go in, view that response, and you can select it. So if you're integrated with a supplier, we can also have these sort of communications and requests for quotes directly with your supplier, and then they can offer you like different suggestions of different SKUs that you might be missing and add those into your estimate as well. But once this is added in, basically, I've done my whole quote, I've done my takeoffs, I've added my request for quotes. All I need to do now is just press this quote letter button. So to do that, what we'll do is we'll take your estimate and we'll automatically bake everything into a nice professional looking quote for you. So we have like a nice cover photo, your company logo. You can add like a message to a customer, and then we'll have a breakdown of all your different costs and prices. Now, right now I'm showing the full detail. So the best thing about Buildxact is instead of you messing around and having to reformat your quotes because something doesn't fit, and then you have to spend 30 minutes messing around with the quote to make it look nice. Instead, we make everything easy to edit just at a click of a button. So I have all these different sections of the quote that I'm currently showing. Well, if I don't want to show an allowance section, I can just turn that off. Or if I wanted to show it, just to click a button, you can turn it on. If I go to the quoted items, it allows me basically to go in and I can just drill down deeper into this quote. And if I don't want to show any of the detail that I'm seeing right now with all of these different items, I can turn it off. So that allows me to just show like a more vague quote. So if this is a preliminary quote, you don't want them to look at the specific numbers, click on the button, turn it off. Now I want to send them a more detailed quote. I can select all the items and they're going to see that higher level of detail. What that looks like to the customer from their perspective is you're going to provide them a quote that looks better than other contractors. This is huge because you're going to look more professional. You're going to get them the quote faster and you're going to win jobs at a faster rate. Now we surveyed our customers and there's against the industry standard. And we actually have backend analytics that show how many of our quotes get accepted versus the industry standard. In the construction world, 1 in 3 quotes on average are accepted. With Buildxact, it's 1 in 2. So this is proven to speed up your ability to win quotes at a higher rate. And what that looks like is a nice professional looking quote with your company logo, message to the customer, a breakdown of your different pricing. So, I could even have like the amount of materials that I need here. We also have an allowance section where you're going to have, allowance total, a specification section where you can attach pictures and images or even as much detail as this, if you wanted to, of your materials, a summary of the quote, your terms and conditions, and then a contact page at the end. All right, so that's the second part. So if anyone does have any questions about the estimating part, feel free to ask them now before I move on I know we do have like a, large number of people in here, so don't feel shy to ask questions specifically, about the estimating part. Hopefully I was as thorough as possible before I jump into the job management. I'll just give you guys just a couple seconds here in case anyone wants to ask a question. I'll take that maybe as a sign that I'm doing a really good job. So, I like to think that I'm a little, conceited myself though, but hopefully if you do have any more questions, just feel free to add it out. I just want to make sure that I'm getting to all of your points. Here we go. We might have had one. Can you hide the Buildxact logo on that PDF at the bottom? Well, hopefully you don't have to hide it. Actually, what I've been told from a lot of our users is that they actually want people to know that they're a Buildxact user and that they use a software system, because if you do use Buildxact, you'll be more accurate. So a lot of people are, I would say most people that I talk to are actually proud and want that logo there, so that people do know that they're using some sort of system. If you do want to hide it, we do have the ability, an advanced editing function where you can remove it from the message as well. But on top of that, if I jump back into Buildxact, the third part I'm going to talk to you about is job management. Oh, here we go. How do you add credits to an estimate? Can you clarify that, Samuel, in terms of like, do you mean credits as in like maybe like a free amount, or for like a job item, like a $0 item? If that's what you're referring to, like if you wanted to add like a $0 item, basically you just have to go in here and, if this was like, some sort of like a free install, you would just basically put in here, it's a $0 item. And then when it's in the quote, you can actually include $0 items so that this will appear as a credit. So.
Good questions, everyone.
All right. Thank you very much. So just moving on though, once we get into the jobs, I think one of the main benefits of Buildxact is, so basically the version that you've seen before is more of our entry version, where you're just gonna be focusing on the estimates. So that is $149 per month. Then we have a pro version. This includes basically everything from start to finish in managing the entire construction cycle. So because we do a really good job of being detailed with our estimating, it makes the job management even easier. So if I was to go to this like Suzuki's remodel that I'm working on, basically it's the same journey here at the top, but it's to invoice the customers. So the first thing that you're going to do is turn this estimate to a job, and the job is going to be either like a cost plus job, a fixed price job, cost completion job, or it could even just be like a, invoiced in a custom manner. So we give you the opportunity to have different types of invoices depending on, how you manage your jobs. But the first thing you're probably going to do is set up a schedule for the job. So we provide you a Gantt chart, which is going to allow you to organize your construction schedule into this method, so that if you're 50% done plumbing, you can mark it as 50%. If you're 100%, you mark it as 100%, and it'll update your overall job progress at the top. So now at the top here, I can see that I'm 50% done this overall job. So maybe what I want to do is actually print out a job task list, letting the customers know like what everything's that I'm at the 50% mark, and that, all of these tasks have been completed. And then these other tasks, these are their start dates and end dates, and they'll be up next. So it makes it really easy for you to just communicate with your customer. Also what we allow you to do is to actually create dependencies between these items. So I'm sure we've all battled when we're doing a construction job with bad weather. And let's say that this gets delayed a couple of days because there's, it's right now in Texas, they're having hail and snow, right, Avery? So,
Yeah.
so I don't think anyone's working on the job site right now, but I can actually delay this and it will push back all of the other items. So by creating dependencies between items, it makes it easy for you to, if you finish something early as well, to not have to mess up the rest of your schedule and make sure everything is done in a nice order. You can actually also go in here, and if I have, a specific contractor coming in for the drywall, I can actually go in and assign him a reminder, a day before with an automatic text message and email that, hey, I'm going to text him an email saying, don't park on the lawn and the keys in the drop box. And I'll send that to him, the day that the job starts. So the whole point of the schedule is just to make sure that everything, is well organized for you. And this will all actually feed in directly to a master schedule where you'll be able to organize all of your resources to see, where are all your framers at? Where are all your contractors at? In one master view, so that it's easy for you to also organize for future jobs as well. But one of the most powerful things, and the question that I ask a lot of our users is, they come to me and they say, well, I don't really know how to keep track of my job costing. And I say, well, how much money did you go over your framing last job? And they say, well, I can look at like the overall job number, like once I'm done my accounting, but while I'm in the job, I don't really have any idea. Well, we try to make that very simple and easy for you. So for instance here, this is all of our job costings in one screen. So I have all of my estimate costs that we've pulled over from my estimate. And then these are all the costs, the actual costs that I've entered through purchase orders with Buildxact. So let's say I have this paving job that I need to do. So I need to select, these pavings and these bricks that I need to order from a supplier. Well, to actualize that cost, all I have to do is select those items and then press order 3 items. What it'll do is it'll automatically put it into a purchase order. So I can say like paving order here. I can select the supplier that I'm going to be ordering this from. And then these are all the quantities of like bricks and, the cost for the paving that I'm going to need. So all I have to do is just press send and save and send it. It's automatically going to put this into a purchase order that I can send to my supplier, and an email that makes it easy for us to, streamline getting that out to them. What that looks like is just a nice, simple document with all of your different terms and conditions for your order that are going to be attached. So that now, once they get back to you with your pricing, all you have to do is just add the invoice number. And let's say that, this paving material went up in price. So instead of it being $6 a unit, it went up to $6.20. Well, you can adjust that price. And let's say this brick was on sale and it went down to $1.52. By making those adjustments, it allows you to now actualize your costs and have real-time info on this project that I went 1% over, or $276.20 over my paving order. What it does is, by doing your purchase orders in here, not only will it also send all of this information automatically to QuickBooks Online and other accounting programs, but it'll give you a visual element of, hey, I'm 5% over on my electrician consistently. Maybe I need to increase my margins or my pricing for my electricians by 5%, so that you can optimize and get the best results for your profit margins. On top of that, you can also see here once you're done the project, what your estimated amount is, what your actual amount is, and how much you're going to go over or under that project at any given time. On top of that, one of my things that customers bring up is, hey, how do you guys tackle change orders? Because it's kind of a pain in the butt for us to have to make them each time from scratch. Well, we want to make sure that you're legally covered. And, things do happen where you're going to get in fights with customers, but Buildxact is going to make it easy for you to basically go in here. And if you needed to add like a line item, you can just say, hey, I need to create some additional drywall because we didn't cover, an area of the wall with our estimate. Well, it's going to be $3 a square foot, and we need to do $200 or 200 square feet more. Well, by entering this price, what it allows me to do is to be able to send this directly to the customer, and we'll actually automatically create a form for you. So what that form looks like is just a nice, simple change order form that's going to have like the new amount for the additional drywall and a signature that they can sign. So you can share this to the customer portal, and then they can digitally accept it in the customer portal as well, or you can email it directly to a customer for a signature. So another question. So you can actually export. So the question was, sorry for those who can't see, is can you import estimate into Buildertrend? Well, ideally, I think based on our price point and what we do is we can actually replace a lot of what Buildertrend does. So you can do everything in one system. If you did want to export it to Buildertrend or other programs, we give you the ability here in this actual costings to be able to actually export anything as a spreadsheet. So basically every area of Buildxact, there's always these little buttons where you can export things as a PDF, or as you can see in the bottom here, a spreadsheet. But what this allows us to do is to be able to take everything and put it into a form where you can see all of your estimate costs, all of your actual costs, and how much you've gone over or under. And then this data is really good for you to be able to, if you did need to send this to a bank, or if you needed to report this to like your owner or CEO, makes it really easy for you to just export it and share it directly to somebody in a couple of seconds. But beyond that, the last parts of the program that we're going I just want to focus on before we get into, a question and answer period is, once you're done your change orders, if you needed to do any invoicing, I'm doing a cost plus method here, but basically because I've done all of those purchase orders, all I have to do is go in and just select all of these items that I wanted to add to an invoice. And just at a click of a button, I can group these all together with a percentage amount that I wanted to add on top of that as my, profit margin. And then basically I can just at a click of a button, create this invoice for a customer. What that invoice looks like is just a nice professional invoice with the payment due date, the amount due, the items that you've ordered, and your payment terms. So this will also integrate with QuickBooks Online as well. So if you do initiate the invoice through here and you're using QuickBooks Online, it will send this as an income to QuickBooks so that it can request a payment from your customer and just begin the whole payment process. So you don't have to enter all of your information multiple times. But once you wanted to collect the invoice, you basically just have to go in here, actualize the cost of like how much that they paid, and then it's going to add it to your profit margins as well as your actual amount down here of what your estimate cost, how much has been invoiced, and then how much profit or money you're making or losing. But yeah, but other than that, the last thing I want to touch on is, the program itself. I think one of the main benefits is, hopefully that you've seen from this presentation, is very simple and easy to use. So everything flows really nice. To actually learn the program is very intuitive, and it makes it even easier because we actually have a lot of built-in training and resources directly in the system. So one of the things that that our customers love is if you press this Explore tab, we have FAQs that can answer questions. We have a built-in chat that you can ask questions to live staff. And then we also have video tutorials, feature suggestions, labs, so like that you can book training sessions directly through here, or you can just send us a message if you have a question. But the whole idea is built into the program. You have all the resources that you need to learn the program and get started, and then we'll even hold your hand, for the first couple estimates with one-on-one training as well. But the depth of the training is really good as well, because we have these quick little 2-minute videos that you can access directly in the program, or you can even search by topic. So if you're only focused on takeoffs or estimating, I can just go to the estimating topic, and it's going to give you a variety of different tools and resources that are going to help you learn the program. But that's the end of my presentation for today. I just wanted to see, does anyone have any quick questions or anything that I didn't go over, in the demonstration?
Feel free to ask anonymously if you want, or if you want to put it in the chat. We're happy to answer any questions you have right now.
And I also want to note, if there is anyone interested, who is a prospective new client, I've actually, Beth, if you can post my Calendly link in again. I'm also going to put my email address in here, because what I can do is we actually have an offer for this event where if you contact me directly, I'll be able to provide you the second month free of any package if you wanted to sign up for Buildxact. So if you pay for either our estimate package, which is $149, or our pro package, which is $249, you'll get the second month of that program for free on a monthly agreement with free training as well. So to take advantage of that offer, I've actually put my cell phone number and my email address in the chat. Or you can book, there's another link in there where you can book a calendar appointment for me as well. So feel free to reach out, and I can go over some more custom questions. I know Sam asked some specific stuff, so you can book time with me as well. So yeah, great question. The difference between the two packages, which is what's being asked, the estimating versus the project management side. So our pro package comes with the full access to the system, plus you get an additional user. So because most of the people use the pro package will have 2 logins mostly anyways. The estimate package, the entry package, it's just unlimited takeoffs and estimates. Everything that you need to produce a quote, and you won't have access to the job management tab. So being able to manage your job costing, being able to manage your schedule, and any of the project management. So that's the difference in the 149 entry package versus the 249 pro package.
Great question.
Another question that we get. So the training itself to get set up, a lot of people have had bad experiences with other programs because it takes like 3 weeks to learn because they're old and archaic. I think, as you can tell from the system, it's pretty simple, but we really focus and emphasize on providing you a custom training session. So basically, it doesn't take that long to get set up, and we'll have somebody customize it to your business to make it easy for you to use. The other question that we have is there an app or just a website? Well, we have the ability for you to just log in to a web browser on your phone, and you'll be able to use a mobile version of our website. So you'll be able to access everything on your phone. It has like a nice, easy web version to use. There's no specific app to download. It's just easier that way for us to update the mobile version and make it easy for you to use and have the most optimized experience. That being said, you know, if we do have any apps coming out in the future, like we do have some on the roadmap, but right now everybody seems to just enjoy the web version because it's pretty easy to use. I just wouldn't recommend doing any takeoffs from your phone because that might be difficult. But if you're gonna do a takeoff, be on your computer, probably give you the best possible experience. Can you use previous jobs as templates? Yeah, so you can create, actually in many different areas of the program, you can actually import any Excel spreadsheets of past templates that you have for like an estimate into the system, or as a job. We can also set up some jobs as templates. Most of the jobs are based off of the estimate. So the actual estimate would be a template. And then once that's filled out, you'd convert it to a job. What that means is, if you have a spreadsheet of how you operate already, then, you know, our support team or yourself can actually import that as an estimate and set it up as a template. Then you can create copies of those jobs. So one of the big things that I find a lot of our customers will do is they'll actually use a job or an estimate from the past to create a new one. So like, hey, I did this this basement remodel here. If I wanted to create a copy of that and use it, you know, for a similar job for a future customer, all I have to do is just press this create copy button, and then it'll import all of the prices and information. So you can use previous work to create new ones. This is probably one of the fastest ways that you can create an estimate. So other questions is, hopefully that answers your question, Melinda. If not, just let me know and I can clarify further, or just contact me via phone or email and I can set up a time. The other question is, how accurate was the measuring tool? What happens if you're off by a few pixels when you're creating that line? So the tool is very accurate. It's probably as accurate as you get with the doing anything digitally. It's actually more accurate than doing things by hand because it's very error prone. However, if you are off by a couple pixels, the goal here isn't to be 100% accurate and to, like, you know, be as precise as possible. We just want to speed up their process so you get your quotes out faster. It's like I said at the start, it's not always who is the most accurate estimator, it's who can provide a quote the fastest. So if we can eliminate you spending, you know, like most people said, 6 to 8 hours to get a quote out to a customer, and we can make that 1 to 2 hours, it's going to free up time for you to be able to get their jobs done faster, be more efficient on the job site, spend more time with your friends and family, you know? So there's a lot of people who are up late until 12 o'clock at night doing estimates, and they're like single family or single parents, and it's tough. So if we can make that 6 to 8 hours, 1 to 2 hours, if you can get that quote out faster to the customer, it's going to be more important than just being off by a couple pixels. But the whole goal here is you're going to be as darn close as possible anyways with that takeoff tool.
Yeah, and that is a great question, and you know, that's a good answer, Alex. And as well, we give you the option to have some ability to round up and put in, you know, your different wastage, just to have a little bit more of a cushion. If you're, you know, not sure on a quote, you can add that wastage any one of the line items or the entire job to give yourself a little bit of extra room just in case. But yeah, we feel it's pretty accurate and pretty easy to use to get a really good accurate quote out faster.
And that's a great point. Avery is like, you're going to want to allow yourself some wastage anyways, or like some markup to adjust for those, difference in pricing as well.
Great questions, everyone. Really appreciate all the interaction. Do we have any more?
Yeah, while you have me here, we have like, we could spend maybe like a couple more minutes, like 3 more minutes if there's no other questions. Just making sure that everyone can go out, and I'm sure we'll also get if you do want to take advantage of that offer, or if you want to book more time, once again, in the chat, you can just book a time directly. So if you don't feel comfortable asking questions in a group setting, you could always ask me individual, like personal questions, and I can manage that as well.
For sure. Well, we really appreciate everyone's time today. If there are any questions, now's the time to do it. If not, we will send out a recording of this, and we'll be able to help answer any more detailed questions that you may have. So, if there's nothing else that we can provide for you today, I guess we can kind of wrap things up. Thank you so much for running through that with us, Alex, and thank you for everyone that participated. We will send out a recording of this to you, and then feel free to share it with your friends and family and any coworkers or anybody that would be interested in seeing this.
Awesome, and thank you guys so much for your time, and that was really fun, and I always enjoy getting a chance to talk to you guys. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
No problem.